In this installment, we're going to be going over part 2 of the warning, do not draft players you need to avoid between rounds 6 through 10. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to give you the winning ingredients for our part 2 of Do Not Draft, guys. We're going through rounds 6 through 10. But before I deep dive into this highly anticipated part 2, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Guys, don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. The Patreon you're looking at right now, we have been on red hot fire, sweeping it on yesterday's gains. As you can see, 30 for 75 had Texas Rangers again, 25 for 63. We had the Marlins and Phillies combination in a parlay. Philadelphia obviously just by itself. Cubs, we liked they took advantage of them while they were down. 15 for 28 here for the Cubs in this one. And the Marlins yet again coming back around. So guys, if you want winning MLB picks, get connected right now to that link down below. We're going to get ready for your redraft in best ball. The rankings will be in the Patreon as well. Future bets for NFL and for WNBA will be in there as well. So if you want that content, all that in one monthly price on the Patreon, go to that link down below. And before we kick things off, I would like to say a thank you to everyone for showing up and showing out for the first installment of the Do Not Draft These Fantasy Football Players 1 through 5. Guys showed up with 778 views. That was pretty much, I haven't seen that since the NBA playoffs. All right. So let's continue to bring that support. And guys, don't just view it. Like the video. I want to see likes, comments. Let me know what your feelings on these selections in each and every round. Do you have another guy that you do not like? So please feel free to let me know your feelings down below. For round 6, we're going to start things off with an explosive player here. You see it right now in the background. DeAndre Swift coming over from the Detroit Lions, going over to the Philadelphia Eagles. His current ADP is 68.2 and rising. So in a lot of these drafts, he's going to fall around that 6th round range. A lot of guys, after they fill in some of their running backs, some of their wide receivers, maybe go quarterback, they want someone with some high upside. Maybe DeAndre Swift can be your RB2, but I want to stay far away from this ambiguous backfield here with the Philadelphia Eagles. There's a couple teams in the league that have 2 to 3 running back. Oh, no, 3 or more running backs. Excuse me. You want to stay away from those environments. And if you're going to choose one of those guys, you might as well choose the last guy, the cheapest guy. Don't try to get cute and choose the guy at the top, because where DeAndre Swift is going, he's going ahead of the real starter in this offense of Rashad Penny. We're talking about a Philadelphia Eagles team that does not throw to their running backs, not at a high clip anyway. And if they do, they have a guy for that. The guy is named Kenny Gainwell. This was the key winner in this situation of the Philadelphia Eagles, getting DeAndre Swift and getting Rashad Penny. Kenny Gainwell was already solidified as the number 3 down back. All right. Now, with DeAndre Swift comes a ton of question marks. All right. The fact that the Lions gave up on him because he always bounces his runs to the outside. You think the coaching staff of the Philadelphia Eagles are going to get that through to him when the Detroit Lions spent years after years trying to instill that running style in DeAndre Swift? No, they're going to get sick of it. They're going to lean on Rashad Penny as long as he stays healthy. They're going to lean on Kenneth Gainwell. And we have an extreme injury history here in DeAndre Swift, okay? In the last 2 seasons, he's had a shoulder strain, ankle sprain, AC joint sprain, groin strain, and concussion. 2 years, he has already missed 10 games. In 2 seasons, he has already missed 10 games, and he's been on the injury report over 20 times. That is concerning here. That's what you're banking on when you're going for someone in a high draft capital here in the 6th round. You need some consistency here. You can't be throwing away these rounds on players that have high volatility. You're seeing the depth chart here on this team. It's Rashad Penny, it's DeAndre Swift, and then it's Kenny Gainwell. All right. So you want to stay away from DeAndre Swift at this high price. And if you're going to lean on someone, go with Kenneth Gainwell. If you're going to choose one of these guys in the Eagles in this ambiguous backfield, look at Kenny Gainwell's ADP, 161. You can get him at the back end of your drafts. And we're going to focus in on these last 3 weeks. For the Philadelphia Eagles, they keyed on Kenneth Gainwell. They leaned on him in the playoffs games from week 20 to 22, as you can see. He had 19.1 fantasy points, 9.4, and 8.1 in those 3 games. He saw an increased passing rate share in routes at 40%, 38, and 42.5, and he saw an increased snap share in each and every week from 37 to 40 to 50. And then the red zone numbers are huge. Getting targeted in the red zone, Kenny Gainwell was someone they love to lean upon. Jalen Hurts in that offense here. 4 red zone looks, 3 and 2 in those 3 weeks. So do not draft DeAndre Swift. He is way too high, and that round 6 is not worth it. In round number 7, we got Jordan Addison as the first rookie wide receiver coming off the board. He's going ahead of Jackson Smith-Njigba. He's going ahead of Zay Flowers. He's going ahead of Quentin Johnson. Jordan Addison is a guy you want to avoid this season. He's going way too high right now, and things need to simmer down. You do not just think that Jordan Addison, just because he got drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, is going to be thrusted into the same exact volume as an Adam Thielen. That is the wrong thought here. You got to think about the prospect here. If we're looking at his college numbers, Jordan Addison, already poor athleticism across the board. As you can see, all those red numbers across the board in his class rank. And we're going to look at the numbers here. He was peppered in 2021 right here. This 2021 season, this was Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett peppered Jordan Addison that season in the last year in Pittsburgh. He should have came out of the draft that year. He would have been drafted much higher. But he decided to go over to USC and extend his career, and things faltered here. He saw a decrease in targets, receptions, and receiving yards, as well as touchdowns. He went from 17 touchdowns to 8 touchdowns, and he struggled in that USC offense. It was big question marks. Struggled winning vertically, which that's what he's going to be. He's going to be opposite of Justin Jefferson, and he's not a good tackle breaker. So Jordan Addison here, you're expecting him to come into this target share. We had Justin Jefferson at a target share of 29.3 in this offense. You have the number 2 option in this offense as TJ Hockenson, as you can see in that top left corner. He's a target share of 20.5%. All right. You're expecting Jordan Addison to come in. This is Adam Thielen here. Adam Thielen is coming in. He had 17% target share last year. That's not much. All right, you're expecting Jordan Addison to come in and get that? I don't think so. I think there's going to be a struggle here of who's going to be the number 3 wide receiver. You want to know why? Because KJ Osborne was someone to marvel at in this offense for the Minnesota Vikings. And if you want to be clear-cut in the reason why, the way Jordan Addison wins is in the slot. He's a better slot guy instead of a vertical guy. All right. Like I said, he struggles to win vertically when it's man-on-man coverage. KJ Osborne lives in the slot. And as you can see, he has a great win rate. All right. His total route wins is top 8 out of all wide receivers. His route win rate is top 16 out of all wide receivers at a 46.5%. And his win rate versus man coverage is top 25 out of all wide receivers. And this is the number 3 wide receiver on the Minnesota Vikings, alongside of Justin Jefferson, alongside of TJ Hockenson. This is huge for KJ Osborne, and the reason why we're going to bold him up and over Jordan Addison. Addison is going way too high around 7. KJ Osborne was a huge factor in the playoff run. As you can see, from week 14 all the way to their loss against the Giants, you saw huge numbers from KJ Osborne. He was a favorite target from Kirk Cousins. All right, Kirk Cousins keyed in on KJ Osborne in big moments and in the red zone. As you can see, week 14, 14.8, week 15, 31.7, week 17, 18.9, week 18, 16.7, and against the Giants in the playoffs, 10 points right there. And out of those, was it 6 games? He had 4 touchdowns, okay, being majorly targeted in the red zone on multiple occasions. So you want to avoid Jordan Addison at this ADP of 88.5, and you want to key in on this ADP here. You might as well wait and get someone that's going to pretty much go tit for tat with Jordan Addison this season. Someone Kirk Cousins trusts a little bit more, and his ADP is at 177. In round number 8, the guy you must avoid and has a huge warning tag is Gabriel Davis. Now, last season, he was going flying off the Richter scale in draft boards, going in round 4, sometimes even round 3 for some people's fantasy football leagues, best ball, and even redraft. All right, people saw what he did in that Kansas City Chiefs game and went absolutely insane. And I was one of those guys. All right, let's put it all out on the table. I was one of those guys. I got fooled by Gabriel Davis, but I ain't going to get fooled again. I promise you that. Now, Gabriel Davis is clearly and purely a best ball play. You do not want to be in your redraft leagues drafting Gabriel Davis and thinking you're going to understand when to start Gabriel Davis. If you're looking at the screen right now, this is his game log. All right, we had week 1. You thought you made a great selection, 18.8. You know what? I'm going to start him in week 2. What does he do? 6.7. You know what? That was a bad game. All right, what does he do the next week against Baltimore? 2.3. You know what? I'm sick of him. I'm going to bench him. What does he do in the next game? 32.1. Oh, man, I made a mistake. He was on my bench. All right, let me start him now. 16.4. All right, I think where things are getting a little more comfortable now. I think I can rely on Gabriel Davis. What does he do then? 5.5. Oh, man, I don't know. Things might be bad. I think I'm gonna try one more time. What does he do next week? 5.3. You know what? He's going to go back on my bench. You want to play that Russian roulette? Go ahead. All right, go ahead. You can try. There's much safer options in round 8 than Gabriel Davis because you're going to be pulling hair out of your head trying to figure out when to play him. And in this Buffalo Bills offense, you have Stephon Diggs. Gabriel Davis was the clear-cut number 2 wide receiver last year, but that wasn't much because it was very up and down. And now you have to factor in Dalton Kincaid, who they put first-round draft capital in, and he's going to be the safety net, the new safety net for Josh Allen. So that's going to be a target share that's going to be sucked away from him. Yes, Gabriel Davis has a solidified role as the deep guy, but like I said, they're going to come far and few between. In these weeks, out of these 18 games, 50% of these games, as you can see, were 50% were outside of the top 35 wide receivers, okay? You do not want to start that. There's no reason to. Outside of the top 35, half of these games, that's 9 games. And in the same amount, the same 9 games, he scored under 10 points. That is unforgivable and can cost you wins. All right? 6.7, 2.3, 5.5, 5.3, 7.8, 9.5, 6.1. That is unforgivable in your fantasy football leagues. You're going to lose trying to figure out when to play him. So he is a must avoid. He is just a best ball play because when he has his boom weeks, then he'll be in your lineup and you don't have to control it. All right. So please avoid Gabriel Davis in round 8. In round number 9, the guy you want to avoid will be Brian Robinson out of the Washington Commanders. You're thinking, yeah, I build up the majority of my lineup. I want to have a solid bench running back. But this bench running back here has no upside. If we were talking about Najee Harris, this is Najee Harris with no value, because literally Brian Robinson is being usurped by Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson has huge upside here in this offense. He's a guy that is a receiving back and is a better rushing back than Brian Robinson. As you can see, 353 receiving yards last year. His receptions had 46 of them. He has an over 10% target share as a running back in this offense, and he has a 42% route participation. Now, the key reason why we like Antonio Gibson over Brian Robinson here is the acquisition of Eric Bieniemy in this offense. And if we're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs right here, they throw to their running backs at a very high clip. Last season, they had 112 total targets to the running back. All right. And the main guy there, the main beneficiary there was Jerick McKinnon. He had 71 targets. You can essentially put those 71 targets onto Antonio Gibson. This is the toy that Eric Bieniemy wants to use in this offense. Okay. You do not want to take Brian Robinson at 102 ADP where you can get Antonio Gibson at 98, the better guy in this offense, the more explosive guy in this offense, the guy that's going to be utilized in a multiple of facets. He's going to get you points rushing the football. He's going to get you points receiving the football. So please do not. He is a must avoid. Brian Robinson, I get the story. Yes, it's heartfelt that he got shot, but it doesn't make him a good fantasy football running back. Not last year, and definitely not this year. Please do not draft Brian Robinson. In round 10, the guy you want to avoid will be Jamal Williams of the New Orleans Saints. Yes, Jamal Williams had a fantastic season last year. If we're looking at the numbers for the Detroit Lions, if you were able to cash in on this, then you really had a great fantasy football season. You obviously saw the situation there with the Detroit Lions, how they struggled with DeAndre Swift. He did not listen, and he wanted to always bounce his runs to the outside. Jamal Williams was able to come through and be just a solid, consistent running back there for the Lions and be their goal line back. In 17 games, he had over 1,000 yards, 4.1 yards per carry, had a few receptions, but that's not his game, and he had 17 touchdowns. That was the key to Jamal Williams last season, and he broke Barry Sanders' touchdown record, which was pretty embarrassing. Someone legendary getting his record broken by Jamal Williams out of all people. All right, but the bad news here for Jamal Williams here is he's in an ambiguous backfield. Alongside of him will be Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is a guy who is expected to receive a 2 to 4, maybe even 6 game suspension. We do not know yet. All right, he's already cleared of his charges. He's going to serve community service, but we're going to see what the NFL is going to hand down. What kind of punishment is he going to get from the NFL? We are yet to see that. Now, that's going to be a factor here in for Jamal Williams. That's when you think you're going to be able to, hey, he's finally going to get some upside here in these games that you're going to see Alvin Kamara out of. But the problem there is that Kendre Miller is activated from his knee injury, and he is ready to go, and he has passed his physical. He's going to see preseason work, and when he gets on the field and you see his explosiveness, I'm telling you right now, those opportunities when Alvin Kamara is going to be out of those games is going to lean more and more to Kendre Miller, especially in the passing game. Like you saw last year, Jamal Williams only had 12 receptions all season long, and he played 12 games. It's because he's not much of a receiver, right? He did have some upside with Green Bay, but the guy that's going to be taking that work will be Alvin Kamara, and or when Alvin Kamara is out, it's going to be Kendre Miller here. So in these, like I said, in these ambiguous backfields, you do not want to take the first guy. You do not want to take the second guy. Just take the third guy and wait for the upside. Always take the value in these ambiguous backfields, okay? That's the best information I can give you in there when you're trying to go through these guys. And it's funny because you see best comparable to Khalil Herbert. He's in another ambiguous backfield there with the Chicago Bears between Khalil Herbert, Donta Foreman, and Roschon Johnson. That one you want to, hey, take the last guy, right? Take the value in those situations, okay? So in this video here, I just went through rounds 6 through 10. Guys, you do not want to touch. Guys, please make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button right now. Let me know down below if you have any other suggestions in rounds 6 through 10. Maybe you disagree with my selections. Maybe you do agree. Give me your feelings down below. And if you guys are interested in part 1, go ahead and click that link down below as well. All right. Peace out, guys.